In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to make an asymmetric COWL BUBU dress. So what that means is that it's a COWL BUBU dress on one side and it's a sleeveless basic dress on the other side. So if you want to see how I do this, then definitely keep on watching. By the way, my name is SILEM. Very pleased to meet you. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button down below. It's absolutely free and it helps the channel grow. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. So I'm using 3 yards of Ankara fabric for this style. The first thing I did was I folded my fabric and then I just went ahead to mark my baseline at the top. Afterwards, from that point, I marked my bust point, or in this case, the client's bust point, under bust and hip line, which were 12 inches, 15 inches, and 24 inches respectively. Now, the length of the Ankara is fine for the length I want for the dress. The normal Ankara length is 45 inches, and that's totally fine for my client because she's a very tall lady, so her gown length is 45, and that's okay. So I just went ahead to extend all those lines, and now I divided her bust measurements by 4, that's her bust circumference, by 4. I marked that point and I added 2 inches allowance to that. I also went ahead to divide her hip measurement by 4. I marked that point and I added 2 inches allowance. So note that the bust circumference was marked on the bust point and the hip circumference was marked on the hip line. Now I divided her shoulder measurement by 2. I marked that point on the baseline. And then from the baseline, I marked 8 inches downwards, which is going to serve as her chest line. Now I connected the bust point to that chest line, and then I drew a curve to connect that point to the shoulder, or half of the shoulder in this case. And I also drew a straight line from the hip line to the hem of the dress. Now from that shoulder point, I just marked 16 inches, which is going to serve as the length of the sleeve, because it's going to be kind of like an extended sleeve. And now from the bottom, I just drew a curve all the way to the top. Now this is how the cowl neck is going to drape. Now if you want yours to be a bit wider, you can fold your fabric wider and then extend your sleeve length to be up to 24 inches. Mine is just 16 inches, so you can get yours to be 24 inches. And then you draw that curve all the way to the bottom. The wider the fabric is, the more your cowl will drape. Now once I'm done with the front piece, I'm just folding my fabric again, and I'm placing my front piece on top of the fabric so I can cut the back piece. There's no need for a zipper allowance because this dress can be worn easily without a zipper. So I just cut it the same way I cut the front. Now because this is asymmetric, I have to trim out the side that is sleeveless, or that's like a regular dress. So that's what I'm doing now. I simply opened up the fabric. Don't do this on fold, because if you do this on fold, you're going to get a regular sleeveless dress. So I cut it, I opened it up, and then I trimmed out that part following the line I had previously marked. Now that I've trimmed out one, I have to use that one to trim out the other one. But I did that with wrong sides facing. Okay, so I placed it wrong sides facing. So the one I trimmed, I'm using it to trim the other one. So I trimmed the front first. So I'm using that front piece that I had already trimmed to trim the back. But I did this open and wrong sides facing. I did not do this on fold. Neither did I do this right sides facing. So take note of that. If you make a mistake in that, you're going to get something entirely different. So take note of that, guys. Now once I'm done with that, I'm just taking only one piece, which is the front piece now, so I can fold it up. I'm just folding it up, and then I'm cutting the neck, the neckline basically. So for the neckline, I used 4.5 for the width, and the depth. Okay, first of all, I also drew the baseline as well. And then for the depth, I used 4 inches for the depth. Now I just drew a curve to connect those 2 points. And then I went ahead to just trim that open. For the back neckline, I also did the same thing. I folded it. And then I marked the width to be 4.5 inches, but the depth is 2 inches for the back. Then I connected those 2 points with a curve. And I went ahead to just trim that out. And then, of course, I went ahead to just create the shoulder slant all the way. As you can see, one side is the sleeveless, the other side is the cowl. When it's folded, you can clearly see that distinction. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, moving on to my sewing machine, I'm just placing the right side to the right side. So I'm placing the front piece on top of the back piece, right sides facing. Now I'm just going to go ahead and just join the shoulder of two of them together. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to flip it to the other side and join the extended sleeve or the cowl sleeve. All the way to the end. And once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and just shaping the dress as usual, but I'm just shaping it with 1/2 inch seam allowance because it's going to be a very free dress, so you don't want it to be too fitted. There's no zipper, so you want it to be very free and easy to wear and all that. Now her round sleeve is 13 inches, so I'm just marking 13 divided by 2. So from the seam line at the top there, I just marked 6.5, which is 13 divided by 2. And then from that point I just tacked, and then I went ahead to close up that side, just so that that part I left open is going to be where her arm is going to come out from. Okay, so if you just go ahead and close all of that, her arm wouldn't be able to come out from one side. Okay, and you don't want that. Okay, now I got the center of my dress, the center back rather. I marked the shoulder, and then I'm just adding 1/2 inch seam allowance. So by the way, from that center point, I just marked half of the shoulder. That's the shoulder divided by 2. I hope that makes sense. Then I added 1/2 inch to that. I checked that my armhole line was fine, which is 8 inches. So I checked and it was okay. Then I went ahead to draw a curve, and then I trimmed that. I also went ahead to trim the front part of the armhole just a bit so that it has a better fitting. Now I'm using a bias tape to go ahead and just pipe the neck and the armhole of the side that is sleeveless. The other side, I went ahead to weave everything. So the other side, that's the cowl sleeve, I just went ahead to fold it inside, and then I sewed it round because I weaved it. So I didn't need to use a bias tape to turn it inside. So once I've sewn the bias tape, I'm just folding it inward, and then I'm sewing it all the way around. So basically, this is a very, very simple dress to make. Like I said, the wider your fabric is, the more you're able to drape, and the longer your sleeve is, that's the cowl sleeve is, the more your dress is going to drape on one side. Okay, I also have a video where I show you guys how to make a COWL BUBU dress that's the same on both sides, so it's cowl on both sides. If you haven't seen that video, the link will be in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. This is how it turned out. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.